What's up, everyone? We got a UFC Vegas 107 recap, and definitely a weird night with a lot of confusion all around, including, the main event cancellation, but also just a bunch of other cancellations. This ended up being a 9-fight card, which by UFC standards is obviously really low. So, anyways, let's just jump right into things. Share screen, and we can see full UFC stats. So, Elise Ardelean versus Ryan dos Santos, first fight of the card. I ended up switching the pick late to Elise Ardelean, simply because, and I mentioned this on the weigh-in show, they're both bad. They're both bad fighters. We know that. The difference is, even though Ardelean's a little bit older, the difference is Ardelean's always been bad. She's trained at a bad level, other than she did get choked up by Zhang Weili way back in the day, like 2016. Like outside of that, she's competed on a low level, and then she jumps in the UFC. We know she's low level, but there could still be some development there. She's always been bad. Now she's got an opportunity to train full time, compete at a higher level, train. I don't know, just she may make some improvements. Ryan, meanwhile, is bad. She's always been bad. And I went back and I watched some of her Invicta FC fights where she was the champion, and she's bad. And then you watch her on the Brazilian regional scene where it's almost always opponents with losing records. Yeah, I guess one could possibly make some improvements. Ardelean make some improvements, but still be overall atrocious. And then for Ryan, she's had plenty of opportunities and hasn't made any improvements yet. So Ardelean, maybe the slight edge. And then listen, Ardelean ended up making it look fairly easy, I suppose. But yeah, this was like a throwaway pick for me. Basically CF dot model. There was plus money on Ardelean. You knew they were both bad. I was just kind of hoping that Ardelean was going to make slight improvements, whereas Dos Santos none. And that's what you saw. First round was competitive in the sense that the striking numbers are pretty close. I felt like Ardelean was landing the bigger shots. Gave the first round for, but overall competitive. The second round, it's like Ryan Dos Santos has no ability to switch her skills. And I keep humming on the point that BJJ black belt, why not take the fight to the ground? Well, she tried. She tried. She shot 3 takedowns in the second round. Just didn't even get close. Getting backed up, constantly getting stung by that right hand. This is a fun fight in the sense that both women exchanged. They threw down, but Ardelean just seemed to have the heavier firepower. By the third round, Ardelean just goes full YOLO mode. 159 significant strikes thrown, 83 of which actually landed. Does get taken down very briefly, scrambles back up to her feet almost immediately. Yeah, good performance. Now, good performance against Ryan Dos Santos. So the next time Ardelean fights, like, where's her potential at? Where's her ceiling at? Probably very low. But if you were to run back the fight versus her versus say Shauna Bannon, if she was to fight Puya Tomar, I think she could be competitive with that level. Just in the overall grand scheme of things, probably not going to be a title contender anytime soon. Michael Aswell versus Balaji Oki. Went high with Oki this week. Is a short nose replacement in Aswell, especially when you saw them at the weigh-ins. Oki just appeared to be twice his size. Had talked about a lot how he was going to be patient this fight. And you knew from the Duncan fight, he shot his way into a guillotine choke, but he could still wrestle a little bit as well. Aswell, meanwhile, I like Aswell. Been following him a long time on the Fury FC shows. He's very durable, but he has a very high output. So even though he's not the biggest power puncher, he does have good volume. And I think if he would have had a full camp, he likely would have won this fight. In the first round, that was the name of the game, was volume. And he was able to successfully do it, even though he gets out, this is a bit of a confusing one. He gets outlanded 36-24 in that first round, but it didn't feel that way. And when you watch the graphics during the fight, and they're showing you the striking numbers, it's not nearly that wide. In fact, I thought that Aswell probably won the first round. Personally, I scored the first round for Aswell in that some of those shots that he was landing seemed to land a little bit cleaner. He was landing some combination work. A couple decent right hands landed flush. He ended the round good. Started the round not so good. The last 2 minutes, he seemed to be doing some solid work. And because I have a bunch of money on Oki, I think I'm playing on the side of caution that I may have lost that first round. I'll give it to Aswell. Second round, it's Oki. And again, it's weird how the UFC has their own numbers, and then the next day their UFC stats will either someone has gone back and looked at it again or whatever, but it always changes. And so the round 2 is another one that by their numbers they were claiming Aswell was outlanding Oki. Although, whereas I can agree that it felt like that in the first, in the second it did not. He's getting dog walked. He's backing up the entire time. I understand that Oki did run into some strikes. He got stung with a couple shots, but it was as if he felt he may have lost the first round or that was close, and he knew he had to pressure him. So he's constantly coming forward. He's constantly throwing more volume. landing the bigger shots and keeping him on the back foot. Aswell, one, came in on short notice. Two, he's backpedaling a lot. So he noticeably starts to fatigue in the third round. I don't think he's really got that same type of power that he had in the first. He didn't really have that same type of timing. He wasn't really throwing in combinations, but you do see he landed more strikes. In fact, he landed twice as more strikes in the second round that he did in the first. So why did it feel like that? Why did it feel like he's real competitive, may have edged the first, and in the second, he's just backing away the entire time when he landed twice as many strikes? Well, it's because Oki in the first round was being measured and tentative and standing in front of him and picking and choosing his shots. The second round, Oki's dog walking him. So even though Aswell's on his back foot most of the time, it feels like he's definitely losing the second round. He's landing a whole lot because Oki's walking into strikes. Now, no doubt about it, Oki wins the second round. But there are still fools online that say, oh, I think Aswell won that second round because Oki was just walking into strikes. Well, he was landing the bigger ones and was landing more of them. But all the same, there's a sense that this is not a 6-1 favorite, Bellagio Oki. He was at minus 400 for most of the opener, and then by fight day, he ended up skyrocketing to minus 600. But did this feel like a minus 600 fight? Absolutely not. It felt like it was a slight edge for Oki. Could be 1-1. I need him to win this third round. And in the third round, again, the numbers are going to tell you that Oki was outstruck 52-46. I just don't see it. I really don't. Oki also shot a takedown, which he's not credited with. So I'm not sure who does these stats. They just feel way off. In the grand scheme of things, they got Oki outstriking him overall. But what? Because of the first round? Because he outstruck him by 22 strikes in the first. Which, watching back, where did those additional 22 strikes on an advantage come from? Okay, I didn't see them. It felt like it was much closer. So stats on this one just feel weird, but all the same, I thought Bellagio Oki won the fight 2-1, 1 rounds 2 and 3. That should be enough. What I will say is that Oki's probably not someone you're going to want to bet on a whole lot going forward. This is kind of, he's not old, right? The guy's not old by any stretch. He's still got long ways to go. He's only got 12 pro fights. There's still a lot of good things that could come from him. He doesn't really seem like he's improving all that much fight to fight. And whereas he's big, he's physical, he's a specimen, Aswell does have a good chin, so I'm not going to say Oki doesn't have any power, but Oki hit Aswell with all of his best shots times 10. Didn't really ever seem to affect him all that much. You know, his ring IQ is a little bit questionable at times. He's first round, he's ultra patient, maybe gets out volumed. Second round, he's ultra aggressive and does get out volume. So I like betting this guy. I would bet this guy, but it definitely going to be problematic. Like, it's depending on opponent. Hopefully he's fighting chinny guys. Hopefully he's fighting guys that don't have deep gas tanks. And hopefully he's not fighting good counter punches because he's there to get hit, and he got hit a lot in this fight. Aswell, meanwhile, I seen him apologizing afterwards, being like, oh, sorry, guys, it came up short. Like, brother, you got nothing to apologize with. You guys went in there, short notice, was like a giant underdog, gave him everything he could handle. And yeah, you're on short notice, you tired out. Full camp, Aswell probably wins that fight. And so for that reason, like, I was not impressed by the Bellagio Oki performance. He won, we cashed, that's all good. But moving forward, this guy probably someone I would rather fade than have a whole lot of confidence behind. Jordan Leavitt versus Kurt Holobaugh. Again, Jordan Leavitt felt like one of these guys this week that I think he's going to get the job done. But like anything, especially in an Apex card, all these guys got red flags. In Leavitt's case, he hasn't fought in nearly 2 years. What's he been up to? People don't like his style. But styles do make fights. And with Kurt Holobaugh, he's a warrior. He's a junkyard dog. He was going to move forward. He's going to try to sling. He has a black belt of his own. Technically, he's just a lot slower now. He's not explosive. You know, a guy like Jordan Leavitt doesn't need to just outright take him down as much as he can just create a scramble, be faster, end up on top. But he did just flat out take him down. He did grab a hold of Holobaugh right away and tossed him. What I will say is that the love for Holobaugh this week was genuinely cooked into the fact that he looked pretty good against Alexander Hernandez. And when people watch that fight, or they come out of that fight, they say, oh, dude, Holobaugh almost beat Hernandez. Holobaugh looked good. Holobaugh did not look good. It's that Alexander Hernandez looked really bad. And so I think when you compare a lot of the times, especially if you're not watching the fights back, you're just kind of scrolling through, oh, a nice win over, he lost Alexander Hernandez. A nice performance against Hernandez where he was competitive and won the third round, and Hernandez had to take him down a bunch of times and hold on to him because, you know, he was tired of getting hit, and Holobaugh was still coming forward, and that makes it look good. But Hernandez just fights a completely different style than Jordan Leavitt. Leavitt is a jiu-jitsu specialist, and whereas specialization doesn't work at the highest level, Kurt Holobaugh's not at the highest level. You can get by with a one singular skill, that being your ability to out-grapple him. And I will admit, with Leavitt's takedowns, they were nice. I mean, his entries are excellent. He actually is pretty strong in the clinch. That mat return that he hit would end up being like almost like a slam right to a back take. All nice stuff from Jordan Leavitt. When you're training in Las Vegas with some of the best guys, some of the best coaches, some of the best instructors, and you're still a young man, he's only 29. 2 years off isn't the worst thing in the world. People faulted him for what his skills were 2 years ago. Well, now give him 24 months of development. Should his striking not get better? Should his athleticism not get better if he's putting in the time, doing the work? He's a really smart guy. And then, they give him the microphone post fight, and it's just like just do the twerk. Not that it's the greatest bit ever, but it's his bit. It's like guys that you can count on them to come out to the same song every time, and a guy that he's gonna say the same thing on the mic every time. He's got a little tagline, a little saying. Just do the little twerk. And whereas I mentioned on the weigh-in show or the preview show this week, don't do it if you win some greasy split decision like Vanessa Demopoulos. Oh, I can absolutely rob someone in a shit piss poor performance, and I'm just gonna go in here and dance and celebrate. That almost just feels like irritating. You finish somebody. It's a nice performance. That's your time, brother. Do whatever you want. Instead, he throws in the worm. That was legit. It was legit because it's an old school move. He's not doing the twerk anymore. The worm is way cooler than the twerk, anyways. I like that he still showed that character, right? The media, not the media necessarily, but the fans kind of had bullied him online, like that's stupid and I don't like you. And so he says going into this fight, oh, I'm mature, I'm not going to do it anymore. And it's your thing. Who cares what other people think about you? Just do your thing. Worm, it was a cool secondary effort. So yeah, easy win for Jordan Leavitt. I kind of half thought that this fight might hit some overs. They did not hit any overs. Again, Kurt is a black belt. I figured he might be able to defend himself in some of these positions, but Leavitt just took his back so quick. He was fresh. He was strong. He's technical. And as soon as he got under the neck, that was all she wrote. The only sad thing about this fight is they're in the Apex, and it's the third fight on the card, and there's nobody there. And the commentators aren't really saying anything. The only thing you can hear is whoever Kurt Holobagh's got in his corner or his wife, or it's a female voice. And it's like, it's okay, Kurt. You can do it, Kurt. Watch out, Kurt. Kurt's out. It's like, oh man, it's so sad in the Apex. At least in a full venue, it gets drowned out. You can just hear people cheering and the excitement. There was just like one person who's realizing, oh my God, Kurt is out to get killed. Is what it is. Jafel Filho versus Alan Nascimento. Took a dog shot here on Jafel Filho. I also had a Jafel Filho by decision at plus 400, which seemed generous. You know that he can grapple. You know that he's got a striking edge. You know that Nascimento's 1, missed weight. 2, hasn't fought in 2 years. 3, is just super low output. The guy's a grappler extraordinaire, but he's not landing with ground and pound. If he does not submit you, it's mostly just control time. Now, control time's fine. Control time's fine if you can outstrike your opponent for the first 3 minutes of the round, the first 3.5 minutes of the round. Then who cares if you get taken down and controlled the last 90 seconds? As we'll talk about when we get to Zach Reese, you can beat the guy up standing and end up on your back for the last 90 seconds and just hold on. They'll give you the round, especially in the Apex, especially in Nevada. They're scoring damage. And control time is something if you're getting controlled for 4.5 minutes, right? If you can beat the guy and then get controlled for less than the amount of time you spent outstriking him, you'll be okay. And so this is where Filho screws up. The first round, he is twice the fighter that Alan Nascimento is. He looks, even though he's not as tall, he's twice as strong. He just easily gets him into the clinch. He can outstrike him if he wants. He chooses to clinch up with him. He chooses to take him down. And he outgrapples a black belt fairly soundly in that first round. And I mean passes to mount. I mean threatens with a guillotine choke. Threatens with multiple submissions. Nascimento is about as high of a level grappler as you're going to get in this division. And for that first round, he looked like a fish out of water. His submission defense was sick in that a couple of them were pretty tight. And it's like he does not panic. He just waits it out. He creates that little bit of space. He gets out of the position. So Nascimento defensively, a gem. He gets wrecked in that first round. This is looking like it's going to be easy money, Jafel Filho. The second round, Filho, again, realizes, oh, this guy's a black belt. I'm a better grappler than him. I'm also a better striker than him and clearly a better wrestler than him. But I'm going to go and prove a point and just try to out-grapple him again. Why not use that defensive wrestling to just stay upright? Why not use your striking advantage to outstrike him? Why not outstrike him for a period of time and then try to take him down so that if you botch it, the judges will still remember the 3.5 minutes you won standing. No, He shoots right away. He gets it right away. And in this moment of euphoria of I am easily winning this fight and kicking the crap out of Nascimento, out grappling him easy. He just gets barbaric with it. He wants the neck, he wants the back, he jumps way too high. And whereas this probably definitely works on white belts and blue belts and purple belts, it may very well work on a brown belt. Not on a black belt, especially not on a black belt like Nascimento. You can't just jump on he's just going to let you have it. No, he knows how to defend. He's waiting for it. And the second you get a little bit overzealous and get a little too high, he's going to recognize that and he's going to reverse. And that's exactly what he does. Now, here's the problem. Because Filho went for the takedown so early into the round, when he gets reversed and falls too high off the back and Nascimento's on him, there's like 3.5 minutes now. There's like almost 4 minutes in this round. So you got to get up, right? You got to get up. No, not so easy. Not so easy because Nascimento staples guys down. Like he doesn't allow you to create space. He doesn't allow you to get up. But Filho's also like, well, I'm just going to play the submission game and try to out-grapple him from off my back. So once he realizes like that's not going to happen, I need to be getting up. The round's already done, and it's 1-1. And I'll admit, Nascimento doesn't do anything in that round, but he had him down for 3.5 minutes. He didn't get the takedown on his own. No submission attacks. Well, let's check out what the striking numbers were for that second round. Nascimento landed 6 significant strikes, right? It's the 3.5 minutes of control time, man. Doesn't matter that you got taken down twice. You hit your one little reversal, and you ended up on top for 3.5 minutes. So it's a frustrating round because Filho could have won that round, no doubt, but he did it to himself. He got a little bit over anxious. Now it's okay because we still got a third round, everything to play for in the third. And you learn your lesson. That first round, you took him down, you out-grappled him. That second round, you got a little too antsy. You made a mistake. Now, he's at a Nova Union, which I don't really rate as a gym anymore, but Andre Pedneras, is with him. And Pedneras tells him, don't go for the back no more. This guy has got excellent defense. He's waiting for you to go too high. Don't engage with him. Just create space and outstrike him. Okay, deal. Kudos to Nascimento, he shoots the takedown because he's like, I realize you probably don't want to grapple with me anymore, so I need to create these scrambles. Standing, Nascimento's not going to win. Nascimento's never going to win. He doesn't throw anything. And his wrestling, it's really not all that good, but his ability to at least shoot, get onto the target, will create a scramble. In this particular scramble, he's credited with a takedown, but not really, because Filho immediately is able to just reverse a botched takedown and end up on top. And whereas you can hear his corner telling him separate, you can hear, the feeling here is just separate off this guy. He decides to go to take the back again. And what's he do? He gets one hook in. He goes to a hip ride. You can see Nascimento just shucking him slowly to get him a little too high. And then as soon as he goes to throw that second hook in, boom, Nascimento shucks him off the top, ends up on top. It's not the exact same transition, the exact same scramble, but it's very likely the exact same thing here in the third. He just botches it. This time he realizes I need to get up, and then in trying to get up, you might leave your neck out for a second, which he's able to use for a front headlock or a potential guillotine, or you may leave one leg out, and all of a sudden he's got a leg laced up against the cage. Like, Nascimento did a really good job of just holding him down. Eventually, Filho did get up with like a few seconds left, but now you've got this guy attached to you at the waist, and you've already given up another 3.5 minutes of control time, so you're fighting behind. They both landed 2 strikes. He got outstruck on the total strike, 7-5. Nothing happened. It's a round that you could have won had you stuffed his takedown and disengaged. The second round is a round you could have won had you not gotten greedy, maybe held him down a little bit, maybe not shot that takedown and engaged him. Who knows? My point is, I hate making excuse for this wasn't a bad pick, guy. It was a bad pick. He lost. It's not a bad pick in that he could have won that fight. He could have won that fight. And if they fought again tomorrow, or they fought again next week, or they fought again next month, and this idiot just come up with a little bit of a better game plan, I think he can win it. Now, a couple of my guys in my Discord, I won't name them by name because they're all good guys, and nobody ever means anything maliciously, but one of the guys did fade him. And his whole point was, I told you he was a gas bag. I told you this guy tired. I told you this guy only had 1 round. Buddy, you're wrong. You're wrong about that. He didn't gas out in this fight. He made a couple technical errors that allowed a high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt to get on top of him. And then the guy's not trying to submit you, and the guy's not trying to strike you. He's trying to hold you down. How are you going to get up? Filho didn't look tired to me. He looked like he just could not get up. The mistakes he was making, was he making those mistakes because he was tired, or was he making those mistakes because He's a fighter in a moment, taking on a guy that has a better technical ability than him. You make one small mistake. I didn't leave this fight thinking Filho had a bad gas tank. I didn't leave this fight thinking Filo's a bad fighter. I think Filho is a young fighter who's learning, who made a mistake. He was competitive with versus Makayev. Then he makes a mistake and he gets submitted in the third. He was competitive. He's ultra competitive in this first round, dominates it. Everybody online is talking about how unbelievable this guy looks. And then second and third, slight mistakes. Is that a cardio issue? Not to me. Is he a bum? Definitely not to me. But he lost the fight. So I will say, anybody that bet Alan Nascimento, shit, kudos, man. And if you had a Nascimento by decision ticket as well, all the props to the world to you. Better read than I had. But I think Filho just did it to himself. Dusko Todorovic versus Zach Reese. Yeah, you felt like it was probably going to be a bit of a greasy fight, but Zach Reese was the play. Zach Reese has got better striking than Todorovic. He probably just going to touch Todorovic at some point, knock him out, right? And if it does have to get to the grappling department, then you should out-grapple him. But this was a weird fight all around. I ended up avoiding the Reese by knockout or the unders or anything like that. I'm an over guy myself, but this did feel like it could just end at any point, so I wasn't super invested on the over 1.5, which I should have been. And I wasn't invested on a 2.5 where a fight goes the distance or anything like that, which obviously should have been all hindsight. But yeah, this is just a real greasy fight. The biggest takeaways here are Zach Reese is not good. He's not good. And I do make excuses for him every time. He's still young in the fight game, doesn't have a ton of pro experience. You know, kind of learning on the job, so to speak. When he does lose, you know, the Bakoev knockout, big Russian guy's on top of you and you're trying to throw off your back. The Cody, the Brunridge knockout, he got powerbombed on his head. This fight was a full decision, so you really got to see everything from him. And he is another poor decision making, no defense, waiting to get beat up guy. I understand he's 6'4". I understand that he can throw. He looked awful from top to bottom. So let's talk about the first round. In the first round, Zach Reese, 6 significant strikes landed. So he's standing in front of him. He's not really throwing the teep kick, even though he's so tall. The body kick would come on in later on in the fight. But in the first round, he's mostly just kind of staring at him, awaiting for Dusko to shoot the takedowns. When Dusko shoots these takedowns, they're not good. They're not good takedowns. Reese, though, instead of trying to dig an underhook, instead of trying to pummel, instead of trying to get this guy off of you, he seems dead set on doing stuff like throwing knees in the clinch while moving backwards. This takedown is not a clean takedown, or he got 3 of them. The first couple, he gets them up against the cage. He can't hold them down. The last one that Dusko gets, it's Reese backing out of the clinch, tries to throw a tie knee while stepping backwards and just falls over. He falls over and Dusko ends up on top of him. That's how the round ends, with Dusko on top for the last minute, and then Dusko lands some decent ground and pound. You can hear the impact because they're in the apex. Nobody's there. You can hear absolutely every shot landed. It looks like he stuns him a few times. He outstrikes him 10-6 is not a big deal, but the 31-19 in total strikes plus the 3 takedowns. This is a Dusko round all day long. And why did Zach Reese lose that round? Because he threw that knee while backing out, which allowed him to end up on his back, which allowed Dusko to get that last minute of control time, which looked good to the judges, which allowed Dusko to land all that ground. Zach Reese blows that round for himself. Second round, his corner's like, okay, man, you gotta start using your kicks. You gotta start using your boxing. Don't overswing on stuff. You're overswinging in the first round. It's like, let's keep it technical. He starts that second round. He hits Dusko with a beautiful combination. As soon as he feels like, damn, I just landed a good right hand, he just charges in with a giant right hand, allows Dusko to clinch up with him and push him up against the cage. Dusko's dead tired by this point. Reese is honestly looking pretty tired himself, but he has a better second round. He's a better second round, and then all of a sudden, it's similar to that takedown in the first where he throws the knee. It's like, it doesn't throw a knee this time, but he throws just a real lazy, nothing behind it, cheap little body kick, right? That he doesn't throw it and then retract it right away. He just like floats it out there, like hits Dusko. And as Dusko's walking forward and you're trying to throw a body kick while moving backwards, it just falls over. It's just like a shitty little, he falls over. Dusko hops on top. Dusko spends the last minute on top of him, just like the first round. The difference is, and this goes back to that Filho Nascimento fight, if you can beat a guy up for 4 minutes and then get controlled with a minute left, it don't matter. Filo's problem is that he would get reversed or shoot these takedowns a minute into the round. So when you get reversed and this guy's on top of you, there's 4 minutes now. That second round, Reese didn't look good in my opinion. He doubled up him up on strikes. But yeah, with the minute left, it's like, man, what are you doing? I got this thing 1-1. I'm hoping Reese just knocks him out. But Dusko took all of his best shots. Third round, it's like Reese finally throws some volume up. 67 total strike or significant strikes thrown. 27 of them were landed. He stuffs the 5 takedowns. He does a good job in that regard. But he does not move his head. His hands are low. He stands straight up in the air, and he's staring right at you. His corner, who are right next to him, and you can hear him very clearly, they're giving him advice, and he's just not really listening. Separate, but he clinches on. Move your feet, but he stands there. I like Zach Reese. I think he's an offensive dynamo. I think he's going to be one of those guys that, because of his size, if he can hit you or submit you in the first round, he'd be a problem for guys. I wasn't convinced of his cardio. I don't think his durability is good. His decision-making seemed extremely questionable. Apparently, he moved camps and he was with a new set of coaches, and it was a first time they were working with him, and so that's why he wasn't responding as well as he probably normally would. Yeah, I saw a guy that's going to get beat up by a lot of the guys in the division. He just happened to draw Dusko Todorovic on a 3-fight losing streak, and that's it. Dusko cut. Zach Reese looked really bad as far as I'm concerned. Macy Chiasson versus Ketlin Vieira. This is pure domination. Pure domination from Ketlin Vieira. Similar in ways to the Nascimento fight. You didn't even have to shoot any takedowns of your own. Macy kept shooting the takedowns, and then she would just reverse it. Yeah? You want to clinch up with me? Sure. He's a little judo toss. We end up on top. And then, of course, when Ketlin Vieira would end up on top, it's like, what are you going to do? She's a BJJ black belt, and she's heavy. 4 minutes and 47 seconds of control time. And why was that? Because Macy Chiasson shot the takedown 5 seconds into the round and got reversed by 13 seconds into the round, and that was the end of it. The third round is the same thing. Macy Chiasson's desperate. She comes out. She shoots the takedown. It's the same thing as the second round. It's as if, did you not learn? Did it not dawn on you? Not only that, but you lost the first 2 rounds. So you need to finish in this third. So why would you shoot a takedown in the first? Even if you got the takedown, you got to end up on top. Are you going to smash Ketlin Vieira, BJJ black belt, who's mostly just going to hold on because she knows she's up 2 rounds? Why would you not try to keep it standing? Land a knee up the middle, land a big elbow. Like, there's fight-ending moves that you don't just throw all the time, like flying knees or wheel kicks or giant elbows off the top. Like, but those are desperate moves. You can mix them in here and there. But when you're down in a fight and you need a finish, you're just gonna jab the guy. He's gonna spam clinch control up against the cage. You're gonna get a takedown, move to half guard, hold them down. Now you gotta smash. I don't know that Chiasson's game plan was get on top of her and smash her. You shot the takedown in the second round. You immediately got reversed. You could not get up. What's the game plan? You're gonna shoot, get on top, and I don't know. It seemed weird. Saif Saud's giving her good advice. He's telling her what not to do. She's just doing it anyways. So what can you really say? The first round was competitive, but I scored it for Vieira. The second round was absolutely non-competitive, scored it for Vieira. The third round is absolutely non-competitive. And then with the last, there's 30 seconds left, and Macy gets up, and Macy starts yelling, like, come on! It's like, girl, you could have done this at the start of the round. You tried to take her down. She defended your takedown, ended up on top of you. Now you're frothing at the mouth saying, come on, let's fight. The fuck are you on? Anyway, doesn't matter because it's too little too late. And yet, did all 3 judges? 2 judges. 2 judges gave her the third round. She outstruck Ketlin Vieira. Sorry. She got outstruck 8-5. Which means that last little, let's go. I came to fight. Let's fight. Well, why will you continuously try and take me down? You came to fight. Anyways, she yielded 5 significant strikes. And she spent 4 minutes and 13 seconds on her back. 2 judges gave her the round. Fighters, coaches, teams, keep this in mind. Don't fucking matter if you get control for 4 minutes. These judges only care about the last 30 seconds where you yell, come on, and you throw 2, 3. That's all they remember. These are not intelligent people judging these fights. They sit there. Okay. Oh, whoa. She said, come on, and threw 2 right hands. Oh, shit. That's a round for that person. Like, they are fools, man. It's not how you start. It's how you end. And so for grapplers, especially, let's go back to Filho again. Don't try to take a guy down a minute in. Take them down the minute left. Or swing on them with a minute left. It's all how you finish. Chiasson lost, but keep in mind, if somehow they would have given her the first round, which seemed more reasonable, right? then all of a sudden it's like if she edged that first round on 2 scorecards and 2 judges gave her that third round on the scorecards, then I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a bit of a weird one. Anyways, Jacoby versus Bruno Lopez. Dustin Jacoby just absolutely kills him. The funny one in this one, I tweeted out about it, was like Daniel Cormier being all very much like Dustin hits him with a jab and Bruno wobbles. And we've seen Bruno wobbled on the regional scene against low-level guys. You've seen him in the Contender Series. You've even seen him in the UFC. He's not good. It just doesn't seem like he's a durable guy. Jacoby hits him with that jab. He's already looks like he's about to do the stanky leg. Why not keep doing that? But Jacoby's a 37-year-old veteran of like 50 fights. He's kickboxed. He's done MMA. He's been in there with the highest level guys. He knows what he's doing. As soon as he senses that Bruno got hurt off this jab, he's like, I'm just going to clinch up to him and go full Randy Couture, single collar tie, batter him with my free hand, and call it a day. And DC's just yelling. He's making a point of yelling it even louder than he normally would because he really wants Justin Jacoby to hear him. He really wants these guys to take his advice from cage side so that they can be all, DC's such a smart guy, DC knew. You're not coaching them. They have their own coaches. Half the time, you don't even know who the fuck these guys are. And if you listen to Cormier, he'll say stuff like, I remember watching this guy fighting the Apex one time and he absolutely knocked out his opponent. And they'll be like, yeah, that was his last fight 3 months ago in the Apex against this guy. Like, DC don't know his homer. He just sits there, he watches, and instead of giving his technical opinion, which people could appreciate for the broadcast, he makes a point of trying to get the coaches to hear him, trying to get the fighters to hear him. And he's all, Dustin, you gotta separate. Dustin, you gotta back away, Dustin. Dustin, you gotta. And then all of a sudden, Bruno Lopez hits the sack, like an absolute sack of potatoes, hits the canvas, out cold, done. Dustin Jacoby knew he had him hurt. Justin Jacoby dogged him. He never gave him a chance to recover. He didn't step back and go back to that jab. It rocked him and give him time to clear his cobwebs. He's a savvy veteran of the game who's knocked out many people, and he acted on it. So I don't know. It's just weird commentary. It just seems like DC tries to make himself the story more than what's actually happening in the fight. So Dustin Jacoby, man, how could you not like this guy? And he goes on the mic afterwards, and, I want to do some golfing, and I want in the tournament, and likable guy, tenured guy, never said no to a fight, just smashes Bruno Lopez. I imagine he gets a $50,000 bonus off of it. He gets a win. It's a great moment. And he takes his time on the mic to voice a displeasure with fighting this level of competition, saying, I used to be a former top 15 guy. I'm relevant. I'm not a stepping stone. I want to fight top 15, top 10, top 5 guys. Kudos, man. You're not saying, yeah, let me fight some more of these bums. And we have seen guys like Jakar Close be like, I don't want to fight top-ranked guys. I only want to fight these bums and get paychecks. That's fine. My man Joe Lozon turned down more money to fight shittier guys. I can appreciate that. But I can really appreciate these guys at 37 that are like, I'm not looking for first-round knockout wins over guys that aren't in my league. I want to fight the best guys and test myself. There's something really admirable about that. And Justin Jacoby's the man. So nice win for him. Kudos there. Ramiz Brahimaj versus Billy Ray Goff. This was the pie shitter. If you were to point on one pie shitter for the entire card, it was Billy Ray Goff. Now, this fight did get added like pretty short notice. At the time of the recording, it had been announced like a day earlier. When I did the preview show, and I wish I took my own advice back then, Ramiz Brahimaj shouldn't have been that big of an underdog. I can understand him being an underdog, but he's got some decent grappling, and on paper, he would be considered a better grappler than Billy Ray Goff. Goff's, violent. He comes forward, he throws, but Ramiz Brahimaj had never been knocked out. So if Goff's best win condition is just knocking guys out in the first, and that doesn't materialize against a durable guy, this will be a competitive fight. There's an advantage for Brahimaj over Goff, and Brahimaj can create those scrambles, get that wrestling going, really make this a grappling match. Then there's an advantage for him. So I felt like it should have been lined closer, and then, I don't know, I paid no attention to it. On Friday night, I went to Unified MMA. I bet mostly on Unified and Samurai. Come Saturday morning, I'm watching Cage Warriors. I should have spent more time looking at that one pick instead of just throwing Goff on the second line. It's a big favorite. People liked him. The guy got robbed. Sure, he just lost to like Trey Waters in his last fight before this. So I did this to myself. This is a bad pick. I didn't really spend enough time looking at. I felt my initial read was I felt Brahimaj shouldn't be that wide. And sure, take Goff. There's no problem in still taking Goff. He should have been like way late. Should have been way, way, way late. Instead, I nudged him up on the second line. So again, it's my fault. Did to myself. Hopefully people avoided it. Hopefully people didn't get too banged up off that. But yeah, it was just a bad pick. It was a flat out bad pick. Billy Ray is not that much better than anybody, let alone that much better than Ramiz Brahimaj. Now, kudos to Ray. It's not just like this guy's a terrible fighter. He gets taken down right away from Brahimaj, which is okay, or especially early. Ramiz is a strong physical guy. He gives up his back, not a good look. And then his defense is pretty solid. Like, he's able to get back to his feet, kind of break the hands. And then Brahimaj just locks up this guillotine choke. And it's like a modified guillotine choke. He could have switched it to a ninja. He could have switched it to really anything. But he just had such a deep bite on the neck. Now, Goff tapped with his free hand on the side. He's on the side of the cage where the ref is sitting more towards the middle of the ring. He can't see the far side hand tap. So you see a tap from Goff, and then Goff just goes unconscious because Ramiz, the ref didn't say stop, so Ramiz is still going to squeeze, and the ref didn't see the tap, so he's not saying stop, so Billy goes out. Ramiz just, nice guy, dude. Nice guy, emotional after the win. Kudos to him. It was a huge moment. It was a feel-good moment. You felt good for him. I didn't feel good losing money, but, Ramiz seems like he's a pretty nice guy. But he knew he was out, and he just dropped him on his own. Looked at the ref, he's out, dropped him, walked away. Didn't want to hurt him any more than that. Them's the breaks in MMA. Sometimes it's just like a battle of inches. You get caught in a guillotine choke. If you could have thwarted off that guillotine, if you could have gotten out of it, if you could have not got subbed in the first round, could Billy Ray have come back and caught him or something? Could Billy Ray have had more volume in the second and the third rounds? Could he have made something happen? Like, yeah. Possibly the longer this fight goes, Billy would have found something. We had a lot of fights in this fight, like Zach Reese. I thought he lost the first round. I really needed him. I thought he lost the first round. Balaji Oki, really needed him. Thought he lost the first round. Even for guys that were on Nascimento, I wasn't on Nascimento, but Nascimento, he very clearly lost the first round. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. So sometimes having a bad first round is not the end of the world. I just need Billy to get out of that first round, and then maybe we can make something happen. But you get caught. Both guys are still fresh. The fight's over before it begins. It's just nothing you can do about it. And you can look at something and say, I got a size advantage and a cardio advantage and a power advantage and a speed advantage and all these advantages. But when you get caught with something really fresh, a head kick 10 seconds in, 30 seconds in, a minute in, quick little guillotine choke, halfway through the opening round, shit happens, right? So you can't make excuses for them, but you can also understand how that doesn't make you a bad fighter. It's just wrong place, wrong time. So kind of my bad. Billy Ray ended up being the apple pie shitter, but it is what it is. Mateusz Gamrot versus Leavitt Klein. This ended up being the de facto main event. Coulda, shoulda, woulda put way more on Mateusz Gamrot, but yeah, I figured it was gonna be a close fight. I ended up going way heavier on the over 2.5 than Mateusz straight up, which was like 100 points shittier. It just felt way safer that even if Leavitt Klein does happen to win this fight, he's not putting Gamrot away. And if Gamrot wins this fight, likely just going to give him an old-fashioned grinding. So I don't know. I kind of got more invested on the fight to go over 2.5 and fight goes the distance and straight up Gamrot, but it should have been straight up Gamrot or Gamrot by decision. But his wrestling is just really solid. And I know people kept saying with Leavitt Klein, I'm sure it's way worse now. Yeah, he's still rocking a 91% takedown defense. He was known as a guy that just does not get taken down. In all of his UFC fights, Nate Landwehr and Jai Herbert had been the only guys to get him down. But, Paul and I talked about this. Roosevelt Roberts cannot wrestle. Thiago Moises cannot wrestle. AJ Cunningham can't do anything, let alone wrestle. Ignacio Bahaman is my boy. Definitely not a wrestler. Jai Herbert, decent striker. Definitely not a wrestler. Mason Jones would have been considered a wrestler, but he's actually more of a judo guy. Devontae Smith, all of them, none of them are wrestlers. And even if they were, they're not good wrestlers. Whereas Gamrot was not only a good wrestler, he's an elite wrestler and by far the best guy Leavitt had ever fought. So in the sense of how do you keep these fights standing, it's like you can for a little bit, but 7 takedowns, one of them is going to get through. And he got 4 of them, 3 minutes of control time. That second round, he only needed 1. Klein having to counter grapple the entire time. It tired him out. And when he would get taken down, he just had no ability to get up, no real get-up game. Gamrot looked like picture perfect. I just have to say, for Gamrot, you gotta like that style. I like that style. I like guys that can out-grapple you, and he's not just holding on to you. 65 significant strikes, through 110 overall. The total strikes, 142 of 224. He's not laying praying you. He's active the whole time. If you want to give him a submission, he'll go for it, but he's not stupid enough to pursue it and get too high on your back, a la Filho. He's He's going to take his time and just systematically break you down. If you make a mistake, he'll capitalize. If not, he's not going to make a mistake looking for it. So 8 minutes and 45 seconds of control time, 6 of 11 on takedowns. 142 to 85 on the total strikes, 65 to 24, 30 27s across the board. This is a really good performance from Matus Gamrot. And I don't know. I didn't go online enough to see like were people saying it was boring or were people saying this and that. Like pure grappling, if you want to go out and do that, to me is always going to be entertaining. And this is a solid one. So the last thing I had been chasing on the night was I pulled the plug on the Barber pick, but well, my PRP was dead by that point, so I had therefore no real action on Barber. But I took this over 4.5, and somebody with money at the venue or in the backstage, it clearly knows about it because not about my bet, but I can just see the over 4.5. The line is just coming back closer to even, like everyone's betting the under. There's a lot of money coming in the under, and it's just moving in real time. I'm like, man, what's going on? Then they announced Macy Barber was walking out, and then she's not walking out, and then she goes to the back, and then hold up, we need a minute. And I've match made a bunch of cards. I've promoted a bunch of cards where like guy had to go in the back and get his fingers cut, or we saw it with dumbass Marvin Vittori. He forgot his cup, right? He's got to run in the back and grab it. Like you do see the odd time where it's like, oh, I forgot something. I got to run something in the back. The broadcasters, the commentators, they didn't really seem to know what was going on, but they weren't saying like, oh, Macy's going to be back in 2 seconds. It was kind of like Macy had to go in the back. I've never seen this before. We'll keep you in the loop. And then they went to commercial, came back from commercial, were informed the fight was off. Apparently Barber suffered a seizure. I hope she's okay if that's the case, but I got bailed out. Not because I still had a Barber pick, but because there's no way that over 4.5 is going to hit. Bitch just had a seizure in the back for the fight. So apparently she still wanted to fight, and the doctor said no. I don't know if that's saving face. I don't know if you're sitting in the back, got your hands, okay, we're ready to go. You warm up. Okay, you're up in 5 minutes. Okay, yeah, no problem. And then you come back from it, and you're like, no, I'm good to go. And yeah, did you say it was 6 minutes? Okay, I'm good to go. Like, is that what happened? You seized up and you were still down to fight? Or is it like you seized up and the doctors were like, yeah, we're pulling this fight. And then you're like, I'm still good to go. I'm still good to go. Like, is it a save face thing? You didn't bitch out when and was it a seizure? I don't know. Like that's just the information you've been given. For Barber, she did have a bad weight cut in that she missed weight by 0.5 pound, but they didn't carry her to the stage. She didn't collapse on the stage. She went out, she looked around, she got on the scale, she looked unhappy. They brought out the curtain. She got on again. She smiled, she flexed, and then she just opted not to cut the extra 0.5 pound. Laura Sanko is very, very not apologetic, but just constantly. She's had a lot of health issues, and everybody that knows her just knows the extreme struggle. And I don't want to get too far into details. A lot of health struggles, and she's been off for a year because she's had a lot of health struggles, and people don't know about the health that she's been going through. Then why the fuck did the UFC book her in a 5-round fight against the top challenger in her return from all of these numerous health issues that sounds like everybody in the inside knows just unbelievably what? Why would they do that to her? Why would they book her in a 5-round main event against the best girl in the division that doesn't have a title around her waist? Why would that be? Why would you do that? I don't know. If it was that many health issues. And then you see Blanchfield, her version of it is, well, she's unprofessional. So that's where there's the disconnect. You've got one person making an excuse saying just she's been so sick, and the other person saying she's a bitch, right? She talks a whole bunch of trash, and then she misses weight. She's unprofessional. That was the exact word, was unprofessional, which Sanko said, oh, I don't know if it's unprofessional. And that's why you need the story. If she had a seizure in the back, 100% it's not you're not professional. And you can't say, well, she missed weight, that's why she had the seizure. Maybe she's had a lot of health issues. Sanko seemed to know way more about the health history. And so in that regard, I feel like she was right. Laura was right. She's had health issues. She had a seizure in the back. It's not about not being professional. And for Blanchfield did everything right. She showed up professional. What's not professional is if it's my organization and I'm booking these fighters and it's like, hey, this girl has had a lot of health issues and she's been really sick and she's been pulling out of fights and she's in and out of the hospital. It's like, oh man, yeah, okay. Does she have any notable wins at all? It's like, no. She's probably like ranked, fringe top 10 of the division. She got some hype. She's young. She's having a lot of health issues. It's like, oh, how many health issues? Is she gonna show up? I don't know. She missed weight and she looked awful. Yeah, let's book her in the main event, 5-round fight. She's never fought 5 rounds before, right? Yeah, let's book her for 5 rounds. Now, I picked Barber. I thought she'd be good in a 5-round fight, but I don't know of all these health issues. When you check out the social media, it's like, I'm doing so good. I'm doing so good. Best camp of my life, best shape of my life. That's what they all say. That's what you're based on. And when you talk to, if you're the kind of capper to go the extra mile and reach out to friends and family or coaches or training partners, they basically say the same shit too. Very few people shoot to you straight. And when you do get it shot to you straight, this guy blew his knee out 2 weeks ago, no ACL. They still win the fight. So it's a weird balance of like when you fade somebody because you know of some health issue and how bad is the health issue. I just feel like it's weird to book her in a big spot, 5 rounds for the first time if they had known about it. Thinking back when they were doing all the lead up stuff, they were like, she's back in Colorado, she's back in Colorado. And she was kind of like, yeah, I went to Wisconsin and to Rufus Sport. And I went to Las Vegas and I went to California. She's like, but as soon as I came back to Colorado, it was like, this is where I need to be. Like, this is where I'm comfortable. In hindsight, it was like, shit, she got health problems. She gone to Wisconsin. She gone to Vegas. She gone to California. Her body's deteriorating. Her mental health is probably deteriorating. She probably goes back to Colorado to be surrounded by friends and family because she's got all these checkups. She's probably is spending time at appointments with doctors in and out of hospitals. And sitting there, yeah, I don't know, man. You always think about things after the fact. After the fact, all the people that reached out to me to be like, do not bet Macy Barber. You guys were right. I don't know if that was the reasoning or you really liked Blanchfield, but all those people that were on Blanchfield, 100% right. I got bailed out by a doctor in the backstage being like, do not go out to fight because you're not medically cleared. I don't blame her. I don't blame well, you can blame her opponent, did everything right. And you know what? I know I probably sounded rude there when I was talking about Lorisenko. I don't blame Lorisenko either. I would just kind of fault the UFC for booking her if that was really the case. I faulted DC a little bit earlier in the night because commentating is just fucking awful. As a fighter, the man. As a human being, the man. As a commentator, he's like Joe Rogan. You could be good at other things and fucking piss poor at calling a fight. DC's about pretty well as bad as it gets. And Billy Ray Goff. He's not dead to me. He just made a mistake. But those are the low lights. Billy Ray Goff, the UFC booking Barber to be in a 5-round headliner with all these health issues. Fight never happens. And then, of course, DC atrocious commentary. So, yeah, that's about it. Listen, it was a 9-fight Apex card. It was pretty lowly regarded. I don't know how many people will even watch this recap. I just felt like I needed to get it out because you always learn some stuff. You always look at stuff from hindsight. What can we do better next time? What can we look to avoid? And what can we try to hammer down? So, anyways, the grind never stops. There's just more stuff coming up next weekend. Another UFC, more regional stuff to get to. So, yeah, that's your UFC on Vegas 107 recap. That's it for me. Kill this little, bam, you can see my face here. Stop screen sharing. Bam, I'm back on screen. Yeah, shitty Apex is what it is. So upwards and onwards. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what's coming up this week, but yeah, just so much stuff. So see you guys over in the Discord. If you got any thoughts, opinions, leave it over in the comment section. And yeah, I mean, that's about it for me. So I hope you guys cash. Hope you guys did okay. And we'll get back at it next week. All the best.